Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So, Calvin Alston, the third, there's some good news. He's not expected to miss much time. His x ray came back and it was negative. X rays on Calvin Alston, third shoulder, came back negative, according to league source, which is good news. I don't know yet if he'll miss time with the injury or not. If he does, this could be Roman Wilson's best chance to prove that he deserves a bigger piece of the pie moving forward. My gut instinct tells me that Roman Wilson is never going to make a big impact. I have no why. I don't have any proof. I haven't been to practices to watch him, but I just don't think it's ever going to happen. That's my opinion. I'm not basing it off anything other than my gut feeling. I believe Ben Skowerneck is more productive as a blocker, a receiver. I think he's more dependable. And I also think that Scotty Miller is more dependable than Roman Wilson at this point. That tracks with Austin tweeting after the game he would be okay, and teammate Ben Skowerneck hearing that Austin wouldn't be out very long. A well placed week 5 bye affords Austin an extra week to recover. That's good news. Also, there's a bye week this week. So I don't think that Calvin Austin is going to miss any time. He's mentally and physically tough. I don't care about his size. A lot of that is overrated. Big guys get injured too, small guys. I don't want to say that it's luck, but when you're durable, you're durable. And when you're not, you're not. It really has nothing to do with size. Look at Tony Baselli, the great offensive tackle for the Jaguars. He had a lot of problems staying healthy, and the man was literally the size of a house. So I don't exactly buy into that narrative. Sometimes it has to do with size. For the season, Austin caught 10 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. He caught a game-winning 17-yard score in week 3 victory over the New England Patriots. He's been the team's most vertical threat this year, though DK Metcalf has made plenty of plays after the catch. And think about if the Pittsburgh Steelers had a real solid number 2 receiver, an absolute stud, and then you have Calvin Austin the third in the slot. It would be very, very hard to stop on offense. I just think that would be so much of a better look for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is why during the 2025 NFL draft, I was kind of leaning towards Emeka Ibuka, even though I love Derek Harmon, because the draft class was so deep with defensive tackles. I was like, oh, maybe we should take Emeka Ibuka. He's playing great in Tampa Bay. So could you imagine right now? Yeah, DK Metcalf, Emeka Ibuka, and Calvin Austin. But I'm a defensive guy, so I'm always going to go with the defensive player. And I think Derek Harmon's going to be an absolute stud. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Last week really flipped the switch. Steelers coach notices big change in Peyton Wilson. I hope so. I really think last week really flipped the switch a little bit in how he's playing in early downs. Steelers inside linebackers coach Scott McCurley said Thursday via audio provided by the Steelers. He's been working on it in practice and the carryover for the game. The way that his path, the way he's taking on blocks, the mindset he's coming with, and that needs to continue. But really, this past week, it felt good to see that come out of him. Last Sunday against the Vikings, Wilson led all defensive players with 13 total tackles. He also had a season high 2 tackles for a loss. Peyton Wilson, I'm not saying he's going to fail, so don't interpret it this way. I want him to be better than Jack Lambert. But let's just say hypothetically it didn't work. It's not going to be because of a lack of effort or a bad attitude like a lot of other players. I don't think that is going to happen. But Peyton Wilson is definitely the type of person and player that I am rooting for to be an all world NFL Hall of Fame player. Everybody's human. And when you think about it, this is the first year that Peyton Wilson is the actual penciled into starter to start every game. Maybe he had some jitters, extra adrenaline going through his body. He's being over aggressive, overrunning plays. We don't know. We're not there with him. You got to remember these guys are human beings too. He's a younger guy. So it might just be something small mentally that he's trying to do too much on plays and maybe he's just trying to do too much. But I think eventually he will settle down and be the player that the Pittsburgh Steelers know that he can be. Chris Hoke, an anchor for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, names one thing Steelers most need to work on during the bye. He goes on to talk about communication. There should be no communication issues. Everybody should be on the same page, Hoke insisted while discussing the Steelers on 93.7 The Fan. It's happening far too often. where the Steelers defense, not everybody's on the same page. They're not running the same defense. If there's one thing that the Steelers need to work on this bye week, it's communication. It's everybody getting on the same page, everybody running the same defense. It's happening too much. God, that really pisses me off to hear that, quite honestly. Because even though the players have to communicate, if this is still going on, this boils down to one thing, and that is Coach Tomlin allowing this type of behavior to happen. And then when it does happen, there's no repercussions or consequences for the defensive players' actions. This really gets to me. It really pisses me off. And something as simple as this, where you see it over and over and over again. How could you be 11 guys on a defense and 5 guys are doing one thing and the other 6 are doing something different? And it's every single week, game after game, the same old thing. And that boils down to one thing. That means the players on defense that are not following their assignment don't respect Coach Tomlin and aren't afraid of the consequences of not knowing their assignment. This is why I keep advocating for John Chucky Gruden to come in and be the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I know one thing. He's the type of individual that's not going to put up with this type of garbage. He's just not. Nick Saban is another type of coach. Nick Saban's never going to coach the Steelers. He's older now. The energy might not be there. But when you look at his blueprints for success when it came to Alabama, he wouldn't. Great coaches don't put up with this type of garbage. They just don't. You get warned, you get benched, then you get traded or cut, and that's it. And then you learn, like, wow, if I want to get paid and keep my job, I better do the assignment I was given. This is all Coach Tomlin. And you'll say, whoa, the defensive coordinator is Coach Austin. No, I'm putting this on the head. It starts at the top. It starts with Coach Tomlin, and this type of garbage needs to stop. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.